Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fika for Life. My name is Edward Thomas, and my co-host
is Lindgren. I thought you wanted that
That
voice.
was so funny. I was so surprised. Wow.
Do you remember what we want to talk about today? At Fika for Life.
Yes, our voices. Yes. Today's sponsor is Pirate Cookies and the White Rabbit Candy. Hard candy that sticks to the roof of your mouth until you get to the rice paper that's melted, and then you get to swallow that, and then the creamy. Okay, we're not going to describe that candy.
It's called creamy candy also.
Yeah, see, like it's creamy. It's like small little white rabbits with sugar.
So
it's really yummy.
So what's the topic for
Yes,
today?
so the topic for today is a life in balance.
I don't even know what it is. So
Well, think of a scale. If you have equal parts on the scale, it's balanced. When it's unbalanced, it's because one thing weighs more than the other. So, every person's life is made up of test tubes,
what?
flower pots, boxes, a container that holds things.
Okay. I'm like, what?
I know you're like, what is this guy on? Get off the crack. And those boxes represent different parts of your life. So, like, you have to sleep. We were just talking about this.
I know you don't want to, but you should sleep.
No, I don't want to sleep. I hate sleep. But
I love sleep.
Really? No,
Yeah, I like to be unconscious.
Really? No, I would like to never ever sleep again.
Oh,
and
man.
just get stuff done and work. Oh my gosh, my life would be much easier.
You have the wrong priorities, man.
I know. No, I just wish I had a battery that never required recharging.
Well,
but that's not the case. Anyway, that's off the subject. The subject is about a life in balance, and what it is that each container in your life that holds these different things has a unique. So every person has them, but the levels for each person is different.
What do you mean by levels?
Well, if you think of like a bunch of test tubes with different colors in them, so imagine test tubes with different colors of liquid in them. And everyone has those same test tubes, the same colors of liquid. But what happens is that each person's test tube is at a different level. So some people have a lot of the red. Some people have very little of the red. Some people have just a little bit more of the red.
You mean the volumes in the test tubes?
The volume inside the test tubes are different. And that is like a lock combination that describes you. So every person's combination is different. But the actual basic thing, what's in the test tubes, is the same for everyone.
Okay.
So like everyone needs rest. You can't live a life without rest. At some point, you will just fall asleep, pass out, collapse, have a heart attack, die. That's like the eternal sleep.
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to rest and recharge your batteries, both the mental, the physical, and the spiritual batteries.
And emotional too.
And emotional. I forgot.
Maybe that's why I like to be like unconscious, because you don't worry. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about anything.
True.
You have no responsibility.
You don't dream?
Well, that's not unconscious though. Then you're kind of conscious because you're dreaming. Your brain is working and you can remember it.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, dreaming is not a good sleep.
I thought dreaming was like you had to dream in order to.
No, dude. When you dream, then
sleep.
you are in a really like shallow sleep. Anyway.
Lynn is obviously the expert on sleeping.
Yes, I
I
am.
think we should do a sleep episode, talk about sleeping.
Sure.
Like, why do you like sleeping so much, and why do I hate sleeping so much? 'Cause that would be really interesting. All right. So you need to sleep. You have to have love in your life.
Love?
Yeah.
What's love?
I don't know what love is. Go home and ask your husband. Husband, could you show me what love is? He's like, I've been waiting for you to say that for a long time.
Ed, don't make it personal.
I didn't say his name. If I would have said his name, I'd be like, and he said, Lynn, baby.
But for all the singles out there, no love for them? There must be more than that love that you're describing.
Yes, exactly. It's not just the husband-wife kind of love. You have a capacity. You have a need for love. You have a need to be loved and a need to love. And And just like you can love your children, you can love your wife, you can love your friends, you can love your job, you can love your cat, you can love your dog. And they're all different kinds of love, but they're still love.
And it will be expressed differently because of the 5 languages of love. If you read this guy Chapman's
yeah, Gary
book.
Chapman, yes. Well, no, but that's actually, that's the personal individual. So how do you receive love and how do you give love? But it's not love.
What do you mean?
Because love is a sacrificial
Action?
or the sacrificial action or of meeting the needs of another person without anything benefiting
return.
you. Yeah, nothing. Like you don't do it for any reason. Then just like so.
I think the most sacrificial love is a parent to its kids.
Or a husband to his wife. Or a wife. Not necessarily a wife to the husband, but a husband to the wife.
Hello.
He loves you more than you love him. Okay.
No, I think it's the parents' love for their kids, though. Because, I mean...
That's one area of sacrifice.
Because at some point, I think... I don't know, in the Western world, it might be different. But I think in Asia, for example, there is more occasion where parents divorce or split up than parents leave their kids. Especially mothers.
Okay.
It's like, wow. I think in my parents' country, if you're a mother and you leave your kids, you are the most horrible human being, or you're not even a human being, because that's like the essence of being a mother. If you abandon that, you were not.
So you're like just worse than poop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, that wasn't the point. So you said it was sleep,
love. Oh, now I forgot all these things. This was like a long time ago since I thought about these kind of things.
Dude,
sleep.
you didn't come prepared.
Yeah, I know. No, not this time. I thought I knew it all, but obviously I'm getting older. My brain is not as elastic. So sleep, love,
Food?
well, like your basic needs.
Yeah.
So there's things like food and clothing and shelter and like
human rights?
Yeah, like humans have to sort of have those kind of things. Some of the other things in life and balance is the achievement factors. So the achieving of goals and the achieving of dreams. And those things are really important to have dreams, and it's really important to have goals and to be able to achieve those kind of goals. If we're talking about a life in balance, it's a life where all these different things, these different categories work together. And when they work together, you get energy. You're happy. You're not like happy, like, haha, but you're happy, like you
Content,
like life. You're
maybe.
content, yeah. So you're content with life, you're content with yourself, and you're content with others.
But I see so many people who, I don't know if it feels like oftentimes when, especially if you watch documentaries or something, it feels like a lot of people work too much, or they say they work too much and they don't have time for all the other things in their life.
Yeah, because you have to have relationships. You have to be connected to other people.
What if you're really connected at work?
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. So work can give you a sense of self-worth, especially for men. A lot of men define themselves through what we do. And so it's really important. Like we really get addicted. We get into our jobs. If you're having problems at home, you're having bad relationships, you get addicted to your job. You just throw yourself into it. Really bad. Don't medicate yourself with your job. It doesn't help you. But one of the problems is that you need that sort of self-worth kind of thing. Because you have to have value. So you have to be appreciated. You have to appreciate, to receive and to give compliments, to have boundaries. So when you have all these things, because a life in balance is a life with boundaries. So I can't just come and touch your breast.
No.
Exactly.
I'll kick your between the legs.
Exactly.
She'll like poke your eyes out.
Crunch. She'll just be like crunching the walnuts and then gouging my eyes out, making me eat them. It's not a good thing. Happened last week, but thank God for surgeons. It didn't happen. It's a joke for all those people out there who can't tell it's a joke. It's a joke.
You're so
but,
kind.
but exactly. But because there's a boundary that gives you integrity. So what you're saying is that there's certain things that are okay to do with you or to do to you, and there's certain things that are not okay. So you have to have boundaries. It's how we create the safe space that surrounds us. It's storming outside again. Great.
Yeah, it's really.
There's things like you have to like yourself. You have to love yourself.
That's really hard for most young people.
Well, that's because they think that loving themselves is about what they're achieving or how they're performing.
So those two are two different things.
Yes. So to love yourself is to accept yourself as who you are and to live out who you are. When you love yourself, you'll sleep well because you love yourself. So you get sleep. When you love yourself, you'll eat well. You'll take care of yourself.
You treat yourself right.
You treat yourself right. There you go. and that's really, really kind of important.
So are you saying when people are like, oh, we have difficulties to get work-life balance together, it's about themselves more than about the system? Because
No.
I mean, governments try all the time to like, make work-life balance better.
Well, the problem is that people work for different reasons. So I grew up in a really poor family, and because of that, work was really important. That's how you get out of poverty. Oh my gosh, it's really storming. That's how you get out of poverty. That's how you get out of a really bad situation. It's all those kind of really weird things. But what happens is that leaves a sense of longing.
Longing to, because work will get you out of this situation.
Yeah, and I think just growing up being poor, you're always wanting something. Because
It traumatizes you.
Well, yeah, because you start to think about like life is always about something else. Oh, like, okay, I don't have a lot of clothes. I don't have a car. I don't have a fancy this or that. And we keep thinking, but if I had it, we would sit around for hours and dream about, oh, if I won $1 million, what would I do with my life?
I still do that though.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yes.
Lynn is poor. That's the first time that you were poor.
No, I'm not
you dream
poor.
about getting money.
I am not poor. I just
She's poor.
wished I had more money
Poor
so I
person.
could do other things.
My co-host is a poor person.
No, I'm not.
Oh, what am I going to do? She's so poor.
Stop it. You're just legitimate to say that because you were really poor.
Yes.
That's why you're allowed to say it. Otherwise, other people would not. Yeah.
No. Yeah, but anyway, so what happens is that you're constantly training your mind that these things. You train your mind that, like, so if you didn't work, there was always a possibility of being out on the streets. There's a possibility I can't do anything because I don't work, I don't get any money. What happens? Oh, you got a job. Oh, that's so good. And now I just place my value into the job. Oh, you're making money. It's like, I'm not saying don't give compliments or anything. I'm just saying we have to find a way to
Balance.
to balance the compliments. So I don't like you more because you get a job. I'm not more proud of
Isn't
you
it
because
more
you
like,
get a job.
good for you, you got a job.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Like, yeah, and how do you convey that? So you have to convey the happiness and the celebration of the person gaining a job without putting
Not in
their
the
worth.
worth.
You're not loved more. You're not a better person. You're not more
But
liked.
that's what we are told all the time. Oh, you got a better job. That makes you a better person. Oh, you
Yeah.
got more money. Oh, it makes
Yeah.
you a better person.
You cut your hair.
Makes me a better person.
Exactly. and I think that's one of the problems. I think one of the problems is that someone told us that a life in balance is a life that's out of balance.
Example?
Why do people work so much? We all know that you can't take the money with you. We all know that even everyone who's worked hard their whole life, worked all times overtime, really did the job and everything. I don't think there's anyone who ever gets to the end of life and says, "Oh, I should have worked more." Oh man, I'm so disappointed because I could have worked an extra 4 hours every day and I didn't do it. It's not what people say.
Or at least insane people.
Well, okay, there might be some crazy workaholic out there. That'll probably be me. I'll be seen out. I gotta go to work. And you don't have a job. I have got a job. I'll make a job. I'll sell something.
But my father is like that too. He always only wants to work. It's really unhealthy.
It is. Because what happens if you just work? It's like people who study all the time. All they do is study, but they don't
They
develop
never
any
get
social.
anywhere.
Yeah, because the social thing is really important. So just as important as an intellectual or academic education is, A social education is just
Social
like,
skills.
"It's in my lips."
Soft skills.
Would
It's
you
called
hear my
soft
lips?
skills.
That's what happens when
You
the
don't have
microphone's
soft skills, man.
when the microphone's too close to my lips. You can hear them vibrating.
Like a fish.
I'm like, it's my fish face. Yeah, but I mean, there are things that. So a balanced life
Here it comes.
is here it comes. In a balanced life, you sleep well. You get enough sleep, regardless of how many hours other people think you should sleep. You get enough sleep. In a balanced life, you take care of yourself. And in a balanced life, you purposely and intentionally live your life so that your life becomes a blessing for other people. In a balanced life, you're nothing. None of the different tubes or the boxes or whatever are dominating your life. Some of them are higher because that's part of the character that God has given you.
It's personality.
But it's not dominating. It's not. This is really high and everything else is really low.
So there's a balance, you mean?
There is a balance, and the balance, if you're tired every single day, your life isn't in balance. If you know that there's something you want to do, but you don't want to deal with it, or the conversation would be too difficult, or what you have to give up is going to be difficult, then you have to make a choice. Because if that's what you really want to do, you get rid of all the other things because that's so important. And if it's just an idea, then you have to say, well, this is an idea, but in reality.
Nah.
Yeah.
But you know that, I don't know if it's probably not really popular, but men and women think differently.
My gosh.
A lot of things, like a lot of women rather choose safety over other things.
Yeah, that's the trap for women. That
But for like
security, safety, knowing here's a person who can provide on a continual basis. And what happens is all you're doing is you're making things your God. You're making things more important than what they are.
But I mean, I don't know. Would you say nowadays people are more bored of their lives or more burned out of their lives? These two extremes, you know?
Yeah, I think it's both. People are burnt out on their life because they're just so exhausted for trying to live up to this sort of social media idea of constantly posting things all the time about my life, trying to make my life look interesting, trying to say interesting and clever things about my life.
So you should just
That's
stop.
a lot of work, you know.
And then people who are bored, who just like, I know people who I feel like from the outside, I look at them, it's just like, man, your life must be so boring. You never do anything.
But
you
that's
just
their
work.
choice. But I mean, a person who chooses to only work.
Well, like they only work, and then they only do the thing they always do, and then they go back to work. And it's really boring. To talk with them, it's like nothing ever happens. They're never like developing.
Yeah, I'm not falling asleep. I'm listening to you. Here I am meditating. I'm learning how to listen. I'm closing my eyes, and I'm actually listening and not interrupting you.
You're not a balanced man.
No, I've never been in balance. No, my gosh, that's why I have to talk about it. No, but a life in balance is achieved through an intentional disciplining of yourself.
That sounds hard.
It is hard. That's why most people don't do it. When you're a kid,
That was fun.
Probably one of the most balanced part of your life is when you're a child.
Yeah, because everything's set out for you.
You wake up, you don't worry.
You know what.
Babies are not walking around going like, I wonder who's going to make food for me tomorrow, and how are they going to make the food? Since I can't communicate with them, how do I get them to make the steak? I don't want baby food. I want steak. How do we get that? You know.
No. I don't think babies think that complex.
But small children and babies are a great example of that life that's in balance.
But that's because the parents are in charge of making the babies' lives balanced. It's not like it's a choice. Because
here it is. The parents have a choice.
Like the parents, but not the baby or the kids. Like my daughter, she doesn't have a choice when to go to bed or when to eat. It's like now or never.
I don't know. When she's at church, she's got a lot of choices.
Yeah, but that's a free place to roam.
Well, I mean, think about it when you're a small child.
Mm-hmm.
You play
Yeah.
because you feel like playing.
Yeah.
If you don't want to play, you don't have to play. You ask questions, you find out about stuff, you're curious about life, you're not sure how it's going to be, but there's something about life that you want to touch things and put them in your mouth, and you want to examine this and break that and pull that open.
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Could have been.
But in that life,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you have your balance.
Okay.
Children eat because they're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make gourmet food normally.
Or take pictures on Instagram to post it.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not like me. No, no, but small children are just they are.
They live in the now.
Yeah.
Like they live in the present. They don't worry or.
And they say whatever. They can say the wackiest things. You're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're pretty happy with life, pretty happy with themselves and everything else around them. They fall down, they cry, they get back up, put the special, it wasn't a not happy face, but what is it? It's kind of like, okay, this is what happened now.
Mm-hmm.
And now the next minute, it's a new now. And
They live in the now.
Yeah,
they
and they're just constantly like, the now is changing all the time.
Yeah.
And they're just like in that flow where the now is like nowing. And they're okay. You know, like small kids aren't rushing around. The clock doesn't bother them.
Well, but we live in society with responsibilities.
Oh, we do.
We
Well,
gotta
we
do
choose
stuff.
to live in society. We choose to make society have certain values. We could choose other values,
Yeah.
but it would take a lot of activity and a lot of work. So we have these politicians that we have. Our choice.
Okay. So that you're saying, go give your vote.
You should vote. If you're listening to this podcast, you don't vote. And you're over 18.
You need to vote.
You need to get your butt to a polling booth and you need to vote. Just telling you. Wow. But I think that strive to have a life in balance. Don't sleep too much and don't work too much. Don't play too much and don't waste too much time.
Isn't it calling like work hard, play hard?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna work hard and play hard, that takes a lot of time, energy, and money. You better be rich.
You gotta be rich to play hard.
But I do believe that perfect life in balance is a life where you're just, you're not. And I don't want to use the word in Swedish it's called lagom. I don't want to use that word. And in many ways, it's more than just the minimum. It's more than just what you get by.
A good measure.
Yeah. So strive for life in balance. Mm-hmm. If you're working too much, stop working so much.
Like examine your priorities and what really matter in life.
Exactly.
And how much space you want to give those things.
Yeah.
And we can't have it all.
You could have just said that at the very beginning. We could have had a 10-minute podcast today. Oh man.
And I mean, I know people always tell you that, but I don't believe you can have it all. I don't think so. I think you have to make priorities.
You can have a lot.
You have to compromise. I don't think you can have it all.
No.
In the sense of how people portray it. Don't you think so?
Yep.
I don't have it all.
Even if you had it all, you can't take it with you.
No.
So why have it all?
So people, now you know, live a balanced life. Most people probably know that, but it's hard to put into practice, isn't it?
Get a good night's sleep.
I think that's most important, like to be able to sleep.
Get a good night's sleep. Wake up, eat a breakfast. Even if you don't like to eat breakfast, wake up and eat breakfast.
I don't like to eat breakfast. Do some exercise.
Yeah. Do some exercise. Do things that are fun. Mm-hmm. Go dancing or take a dancing class.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah, I like to do that. That would be like really fun. No, but go out and do stuff. Make your life count. Go out and do something.
Yeah.
Get to know yourself. All right. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for all your crazy questions. Please keep sending them in as we like to answer them as best we can. And have a great and wonderful summer vacation time.
See ya later.
Alligator at Fika for
Fika for
Life.
Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or ideas, please send us a message to fikaforlife@mail.com. Fika, F-I-K-A. This was the Fika for Life podcast with Lin Nguyen and Edward Thomas, and we hope to hear you again.